Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews with Marie-Pierre and Winston. So we're on the Bronco Road Show. So we're taking you all the way down to Florida, 50 plus hours of driving. So like and subscribe. We've got huge tips and tricks for you right here, right now. So let's put the pedal to the metal and get right to this. I've been doing some tests and this is huge. First of all, while doing my test, trick number one. On the interstate here, if we don't use our blinker, we could get a ticket. And it's about being a polite, non-BMW style driver. You can drive a little fast, but be polite about it. So on the Bronco, when you touch your blinker stick, if you just lightly touch it, you're gonna flash 3 times. So with that 3-time flash, what's great is people are gonna see you, but they're not gonna see you for the rest of your trip for the next, well, we've got like 12 hours left of driving or so, because we're on hour 3. 3 hours of driving so far. I've been taking charge thus far, and we're on the Interstate 95. It's the President Eisenhower Interstate, so very cool. Get to a little side note at the end of the video on that. But miles per gallon, this is a huge trick. We've done the tests, and we drove at first. We were driving hypothetically, let's say if we extrapolate some data, let's say we were doing 80 miles per hour. Well, at 80 miles per hour for 20 miles with, yes, a headwind, the fuel economy was bad. So it was 14.2 on the second test, because the first test we were actually doing 10.8, but we were on the top of a plateau.
It was horrible.
It was 20 miles, it was horrible. We had very fast winds against us, and we're at 10.8 miles per hour, and I was thinking this trip's gonna cost us about $1,500 in fuel or more. So I figured I gotta figure this out. So while Marie and Winston danced to some Taylor Swift, very cute. Sorry you guys missed out on that. I'm driving, so I can't pull out the camera and film this stuff, but I was cracked up.
When you do that much of hours to drive, you need to have fun, you need to have great music, because it will be boring to do 14 hours a drive for the day. So
we are mixing up the music. It's not just Taylor Swift. So when Maddie says great music, we're also listening to some 70s rock and a whole lot of country music. But anyways, back to the miles per gallon. The second time we tested it, we got 14.2 miles per gallon driving hypothetically. If, we play around with the data. We are doing 14.2 miles per gallon. Now, at 65 miles per gallon, the difference is huge. 19.2 miles per gallon. That's 5 miles per gallon. That is incredible. And that's, that's huge. So we ran a little bit of stats on that, and the difference in speed, you had calculated out, what was that, 18.5%? Difference in speed. So we
it was around that, around 17, yeah.
So we get to our destination about 17% faster. So, if we're driving for 10 hours, yeah, there is some benefit to it, but is it worth 5 miles per gallon? Because the difference in fuel economy, we took our fuel economy, 14.2 divided by 19.2, and what did we get there? 25 or 26.5%? Is that it? Yeah, I think you calculated out.
I don't remember.
Any of you who have a calculator can calculate this out, but there's about a 26 to 26.5% difference in fuel. So while we save 17% in time, we've got 26% more fuel consumption. So let's say over $1,000 of fuel, that's $260. That is a lot. So I'm not sure if it's this going a little faster is good bang for the buck. So we've been doing 65 miles per hour even now for a while, and that's great because that's why we didn't get a ticket. So we actually passed 3 patrol cars. So it pays to be nice and polite and follow the rules. So we're definitely going to be following the rules on this trip. Definitely not worth arriving 17% faster.
The time that the police pulls you out, you lose that time too, so you won't run.
And there's a cost to that too, right? We didn't even factor that part in. If we get a ticket on this, 50 plus hours of driving, if we get 1 or 2 tickets on the way down and 1 or 2 tickets on the way up, well, then it's not just 25% more fuel for 26% more fuel for 17% faster arrival time, it will, that will really increase it, because I'm assuming the tickets would be about 150, 200. So that's something. Anyways, our first 2.5 hours of driving worked out to $33 American or $50 Canadian. So that's what our trip has cost us so far. I've got to say, Vermont, you are one beautiful state. If you live in Vermont, you should be proud of what you got. You've got incredible,
mountains.
Green mountains year-round because of the evergreen trees. They're evergreen. They don't lose their leaves in the winter. So we're driving with the evergreen trees in the mountains. It looks amazing. We see lakes and rivers down below. Now, of course, we're on the 95, so we also see New Hampshire, because the 5 and the border is right beside us pretty much the whole time. In New Hampshire, you are also beautiful. Hopefully we cross. Now, we could have gone through the White Mountains. That's a favorite drive of ours. We love it. And there's even one hotel we always like to take a picture in front of, because if I recall correctly, part of the Constitution was worked on in that hotel. Beautiful, huge white motel up in the mountains with a golf course. It's incredible. But what can I say? The Eisenhower Interstate, you're really smooth compared to our Canadian roads. We're loving this. We can finally film.
It's incredible.
It's incredible, yes.
At home, it's like there are some bumps that lands here in the United States that they are perfect. They look like it's just made.
Yeah, and then, you know what? I think Vermont's probably going to be more in the... I'll be surprised if we don't get even much better roads than this. So the trip's going well so far. We want to thank Ridgeview. Ridgeview took care of us. We picked this up in Canada, but before we crossed the border. But Ridgeview is taking care of all our coffees for the road trip. So thank you very much, Ridgeview, for the donation to the channel. But I promised a fact about the interstate. So if I'm not mistaken, I don't have the internet right now, but I believe President Eisenhower, his first name was Dwight. And if so, he would be the Dwight of all time with the highest IQ. He's actually a very intelligent president with a high IQ, but I do suspect he's got the highest IQ of any Dwight. If I'm wrong, let me know. And also in the comment section, what would be great is as we go down to our next stop is, of course, Outer Banks. We're going straight, so 14 hours of road, maybe 15, probably 16 with all the stops and the gas. But let us know if there's areas we should definitely be careful for, whether it's moose, whether it's deer, whether it's speed traps and whatnot. Help us out. We're just friendly Canadians wanting to bring you on vacation with us. So we're going to be on Outer Banks on Sunday. So if you're Corolla or Hatteras, let us know in the comments section. The plan probably is, if we can get the permit, Hatteras, I'm sorry I'm saying that wrong, Sunday afternoon. And in the morning, we're going to be doing Corolla, probably starting around 10:30 a.m. Do Corolla for a few 2-3 hours, probably 3 hours, and then head for lunch around 1:30. So we're looking to meet up with Dwayne from Bronco Wild Outdoors.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So please, if you like this stuff, like and subscribe. I know it's not our usual programming. Normally it's all, data from the office or with the occasional vehicle review, but today, Saturday, we had the hybrid review where it's mostly Marie-Pierre's opinions, so that's really cool. And soon I'll have my review of the EcoBoost. So I finally got to take the Maverick EcoBoost for a good test ride. I pushed it in the corners to even got the tires squealing. So you'll want to see that if you've ever wondered how the Maverick really handles on real roads, real bad roads, and real fast in the corners, because that's my style, pedal to the metal. Maddie, do you have anything to add?
Yes, you said it's not the normal program, but at the same time, this trip is very great because we will be able to test more the Bronco. So we knew many information about it, but now we will test it for 14 hours of drive straight. We will test it on the sand at Outer Banks, so maybe that will be new stuff for us.
I look forward to testing BF Goodrich KO2s in the sand, because from day one I've said it's a fantastic tire. I've applauded Ford for choosing it because it's an expensive tire. I wish I could have afforded to get them as 35s for the Sasquatch so that I'd have something legal to drive in the winter. If you don't have to put those on and your area doesn't get that cold, well then I do believe the just fine. It's actually a very good 3-season tire. In the winter, I wouldn't want to be driving those tires in anything colder than, let's say, minus 10 Celsius. So far, 3 hours on the road. Is the top bothering us any?
No, not at all. And I don't know if for you, but to me it's like we just left the house for 13 minutes.
So far,
it's
super
been 3
comfortable.
hours.
Yeah, you were just saying before we started this video that you can't believe it. 3 hours in this seat, and we're much more comfortable than if we had been watching TV on the couch for what, an episode of something, so 45 minutes.
It's like big couches. It's so comfortable. The seats are big, and yeah.
So far, we're getting along.
Yeah.
Minus those deer, thankfully, I'm very alert, and I did definitely brake for the deer. I also laid on the horn, otherwise they're just stupidly staring on us. I don't know if there's some sort of field that they're chewing on that would get them all dopey like that, but they were dopey. I had to, the first few honks, they didn't even move. They just kind of turned their heads and were like, what do you want? Those deer had attitude.
You're annoying. I want to stay on the road, on the middle of the road.
Probably licking the salt off the road.
And it was in Canada before we crossed the border, and we saw maybe like 100 of them.
Yeah.
It was a 3 batch of many, and I'm sure the total was in the hundreds.
Yeah, it was batches of like 25 to 40 deer in the field going through the Hatley area. So if you ever come up to Canada, watch out when you're driving through the Hatley area. So that's just a little bit after Stansted. A ton of deer out there.
It was early in the morning, so that's maybe the time that we saw that often. After that, I didn't saw that much of deer in that area. Careful in the morning.
So good trick. Lay on the horn, lay on the brakes. Don't expect the deer to move. You might, honking at a moose, don't do that though. Apparently, from what I've heard, that can get them quite upset. This Bronco's really surprising me. I'm thinking, they measure drag coefficients. They should measure this in a drag inefficient. It's incredibly bad on gas at higher speeds. There's a huge benefit to driving slower, and I'm not used to that. The Mustang GT convertible, even with the top down, with our little back glass, it really stays very aerodynamic. And whether we were doing 65 miles per hour, 100 kilometers, or we were doing 80 miles per hour, about 129, there wasn't a huge difference in fuel economy. Like, we used to come back from the beach and we'd do about 70, 75 miles per hour going through the mountains, and it's hilarious. We get about 11 liters per 100 kilometers, so much more fuel efficient. And that's not a V8 6-cylinder debate. That's that this is less aerodynamic than a cow. I've said it once, I've said it twice, and I'll say it forevermore. This thing is not aerodynamic, so speed is the enemy. Speed is evil in this machine, but boy, is it ever comfortable. And that's the thing. If you're going down a hill and you've been driving, let's say 65, going downhill, you can definitely build up some speed. So that way when you end up on a flat, well, that speed will slowly dissipate, or it'll help you get up the next hill. So that's one trick that we're going to be doing to save on fuel. We've got our little, don't put the blinker in all the way, just give it a little light touch and it'll blink 3 times. That's been great. Also, we don't have any internet, but if you do load up, let's say you were to come to Canada, or you're Canadian going elsewhere, if you don't have any data on your phone, period, upload Google Maps before you leave when you have internet. Once it's uploaded and connected with the vehicle, your map continues to be there. So I'm currently without any internet whatsoever, and it's not costing me any money to not have paid a Bronco with navigation. I love the Badlands model. The seats, the vinyl, super comfortable. I don't notice any difference with the leather package on my Outer Banks. This is Matty Pia's Bronco. I don't need the navigation from Ford when I can get it off my phone, and everyone seems to think it requires data. Not if you upload first. It continues to update us where we are on the map. It continues to give us verbal directions. We've gone off route to get gas, and it brought us right back on route because it uploaded everything it needed to upload when it had internet. We cut internet off, we're in airplane mode, and we've got a fantastic GPS system. Of course, Google Maps did not let us know where There's 3 patrol vehicles, so you know, if you need that kind of thing, we're going to be going the speed limit. So if you need that kind of thing, you probably want to have Waze. Waze is a great application, but we didn't think to download it, and now downloading it would cost, let's say it's 200 megabytes. I'm thinking that will probably cost me about $20 with these roaming charges. So forget that. We'll just drive a little slower. Anything to add? No?
That's all.
Well,
For now.
if Cherie has said everything she needs to say, well, I'll sign right off. So thank you so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, just hit finisher. And I wish you more cars and more power. Hopefully your Bronco or Maverick gets in sooner than later. Until next time, take care. Honey, this store is great because they have a bench for the guys. Every store should have a bench for the guys. Right, Winston? Awesome store. Yankee Candle, you gotta stop.